Hi everyone. It's going to be a shorter video this week because I was playing in the Littleroot Qualifiers all day yesterday. I really wanted to record the games themselves during the tournament, but I had a power outage for most of it, so I actually had to play on handheld mode with my phone's hotspot and a battery pack. So no chance to record. Now we actually won the tournament though, which I'm really happy about. Big thanks to Littleroot Lessons for hosting and Paul Ruiz for the coaching sessions to help refine this team just a day before it started. Because we actually did really well with it, I decided I just wanted to add some after-the-fact commentary to a couple of ladder games I did to practice with the team instead of doing something crazy for a video. We'll do that next week. Anyway, so looking at the team comp, it's actually pretty standard, but it has some neat tech. Of course, you have the standard Metagross Spectrier core, but you'll notice that we don't have any fire or electric types on this team, so we're packing Thunder Punch as our Celesteela counter. It's just very prevalent in the meta right now. Moltres has great type synergy with Metagross, and it's holding Life Orb for damage. Since we have that and Grimmsnarl's Fake Tears, it doesn't need Nasty Plot, so we can include Taunt to help deal with Trick Room and just all other kinds of shenanigans. Finny's your standard Calm Mindset, and it also really enjoys Fake Tears support. Picks up really big kills. And Lando is here as our Sun Answer, a lot like Series 8. Now the spreads are also interesting. A lot of them are spec'd surprisingly fast to benefit from Airstream and Bulldoze boosts. And Spectrier has some solid bulk on it as well to just keep disrupting as long as possible. You can just check out the spreads with the rental, but let's jump into some games. Alright, we found our first opponent. Japanese player, ranked 2500 or so. Let's see what they have here. Right, so this is another Metagross team. And they have answers to most of our big attackers, right? In particular, they have Eleki that'll outspeed Spectrier and give it a speed drop, and Cinderace to do big damage into Metagross, so, or just kill Spectrier. So I don't think we can do our standard Metagross Spectrier lead. And in fact, they've kind of got answers to all our big attackers, right? So it's a hard lead, and I think I took a little while when I played this game to choose. Landorus actually seems like a really solid choice, though. It counters Eleki and intimidates Cinderace and their Landorus. So yeah, that's what we went with. Grimmsnarl as a partner also makes sense for screen support. A lot of stuff here can still hit Landorus heavy, especially that Metagross, because if they bring theirs, then it might have Ice Punch, and that'll just get rid of Landorus immediately. So yeah, we go with Grimmsnarl for the screens, but we want Finny as a switch-in, especially for fire attacks from Cinderace and potential Ice Punch from Metagross. And you also want Moltres just to do damage into their Metagross. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure that I rounded out the team with Finny on this one. Yeah, a little closer to timing out than I'm comfortable with. All right, let's see what our opponent opens with here. Okay, Grimmsnarl Finny, that's actually, that's fine here, I think, because if I recall, I predicted that they were going to go for screens and Calm Mind. That is just a safe play. Landorus can't do a ton of damage into Finny without some kind of boost. And they generally have a recovery item on top of that. So instead, we can just go for our own Swords Dance, and then play it safe with a Light Screen from Grimm. We could play it safe, but actually no, we go with the Spirit Break, and the reason for that is that the Finny's probably faster than us, but we can get Light Screen up immediately the second turn. So they go for Trick, not great, we were hoping for Screen since it would be passive, but it's only full Incense, so we're going to have a ton of attack power, and behind Light Screen we still should tank hits reasonably well. So +2 attack, but we always go last. It's a trade-off, and I think at this point, though, we've invested in the Swords Dance. So yeah, and they just go for Calm Mind. Great. So they're at neutral attack, and we don't care about their Spit F, so that's great. So now we've lost our speed control is the thing, right? So we need to max to take advantage of that, or that Finny will just do way too much damage to Landorus. It might even kill us. So ideally we can go for a Quake. But you'll see that I check the team and go for Airstream instead, and the reason for that is that they have their own Lando, and there's always a chance they could switch it in, get the Intimidate, and make my max attack useless. And, you know, we have light screen in case they attack, which seems like the more likely scenario. Alright, let's see what they did after we set up our screen. Right, it's just a Scald. So yeah, that damage isn't bad at all. Light screen really helped us. We would have taken a significant chunk more if not. And yeah, Spirit Break into Argrim is just fine, and we're going to get our kill off on Penny. So the Airstream boost is useless because of the full incense, and that kind of sucks, but it at least applies it to Argrim so that we can outspeed theirs and put Chip onto it with Spirit Break. Alright, let's see what they bring out next. Right, Cinderace. Okay, so this one's tricky because, specifically because of Libero, and they can change to either Flying or Steel type. Steel will resist our Flying attack and our Rock attack, and Flying will just dodge the ground. I chose to go for Rockfall here, just because it covers two options. It covers Fireball and Airstream, and I was hoping they'd be scared of putting on a Steel type and then taking stab damage. So we go for that, and yeah, we kind of just hope that we choose right here. It's very much just a gamble. And of course, they put up Reflect with Grim because no matter what happens, they're definitely going to attack before us, so we need to make sure we tank their hit. Right, Fireball. Awesome. So we chose right. It's Cinderace's strongest attack, but the Reflect keeps us alive. I think we might have just lived it, but not the Spirit Break actually. So yeah, the Reflect was really clutch here. But now a +2 Rockfall should absolutely take out Cinderace. And it did. So that's just an Oko. We get our opponent's max on their very first turn. The lack of speed control really didn't matter. Just bulk and the Swords Dance power carried us through this whole game. Now, on top of all this, I think we have another turn at max, so that's great. Yeah, and their fourth is a Lecky, right? So, of course, this is why we brought Lando to the game in the first place. I think this is pretty much over. We were lucky they didn't bring their own Lando, though that would have complicated things a lot if they could have intimidated us. Right, and they just forfeit. Great, so good game to my opponent in the first game. Okay, we found our next opponent. YA, ranked 3,800 or so. We're starting to climb up a little bit. Alright, yeah, and this was a Sun team. So, just like last game, we're going to have to lead Landorus and Grimmsnarl. The Lum Lando is pretty much our only answer to this. We bring Metagross in the back just because, of course, Claystrier really threatens Landorus, and Metagross is a hard counter there, and we can just have switch-ins. And then we have Finny as well to handle the attacks from Dracovish. It's kind of a weird choice for this team. For a Sun Trick Room team, it might be Iron Ball Dracovish, it might just be a Scarf Sweeper in the back, who knows. I'm not sure if they brought it in this game. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing with this team is that the only really safe answer I have to Sun is to go with Lando Grimmsnarl, because Lumberry protects from potential Sleep Powder, potential burns, and the light screen helps in case they just go ahead and decide to Vine Lash into us. It's not super effective, but it's still neutral damage, and Landorus doesn't appreciate special damage, even from something that doesn't have quite so much power like Venusaur. But, okay, so they went way more passive than we expected. I was expecting full-on offensive Sun when I played this game, but Lando really doesn't want to be here because this is clearly them just setting up a passive TR lead. And that means that Glacier is in the back. So unlike last time, even though it's kind of a similar situation, we don't want to just set up Sword Stance this time. Like, it'll be made useless in Trick Room against a Glastrier. So we can swap that out for our Finny, and just Spirit Break theirs like last time. Do a little bit of chip and control Calm Minds if they try to set up. And this also, of course, is in case I just choose to attack Lando. But we got the prediction wrong on this turn, actually. Moonblast into Grim is really not ideal. We would have much preferred they went for Muddy Water or Scald. And they're going to get their Trick Room up for free, of course, but there was nothing we could do to prevent that. But the good news is we didn't give them a free switch in, and that's really huge. So they've set up their Trick Room, but they don't want to just eat a free attack on Glastrier, so we take advantage of that now. We have no pressure on Finny at all, so we can just set up a Calm Mind and get a light screen up, because there's a good chance that they're going to kill Grim, even with screens up. Moonblast would probably do it. So yeah, we'll at least have that. But they go for Nightshade into Grim. Maybe they just couldn't read the HP. They must have thought I had less than 50 left. And then just Calm Mind on their own Finny, which is actually pretty great for us, honestly, because they're just stalling out their own Trick Room at this point, which will leave Glastrier out of its own speed control. And they're at neutral, and we're at +1 Spadef behind Light Screen. Yeah, so there's really no reason not to just keep setting up. And as for Grim, what we do here, it's really great that we live that turn. Because one of the best tools we have on this Mon is Fake Tears. Yeah, so we set up the Calm Mind, and then we put a Fake Tears into Dusclops. And that's big, right? Because we're stalling out this Trick Room, but if they still have a full health Dusclops at the end of that, even if our Finny has a bunch of boosts on it, we're not OHKOing something that bulky without super effective damage. So Fake Tears gives us the edge there. And they go for Nightshade into Finny. Alright, and Moonblast made great, they doubled. That's really bizarre. Maybe they don't want to give us a free switch in, but the thing is that, yeah, I guess they just didn't know about Fake Tears, because they're just going to let us get another one off and just keep setting up. Like, their Trick Room's almost gone, and that Dusclops is not long for this world. And in fact, we can just kill it this turn. I think we totally can, because we can put it at -4. And our Finny is at +2, so single target Moonblast, there's no reason to risk a Muddy Water. The spread might not be enough, and the chip into their Finny isn't really worth it either. So yeah, you can see me checking the drops here, but the right call is always Moonblast Fake Tears. And this way they have no more Trick Room Setter. Yeah, so now they take out Grim, but that is just fine. Grim 100% did its job. They should not have allowed it to live that long. And they just Calm Mind again. Okay, I mean, their Finny's a stage behind us in attack, and it's really not putting any pressure on at all. So, yeah, the Moonblast. Let's see how much this does. Just straight OHKO, -4, +2, it's crazy. So that shows just how valuable the Fake Tears is on Grim. There's just so many moves I wanted to run on it. Like, Prankster Taunt was really useful for a while, but the amount of damage you can put out with that on Finny and Moltres is just nuts. And at this point, we definitely want Metagross, because they're going to want their Glastrier for whatever they've got left of Trick Room. I think there's one turn left at this point, right? So, yeah, so we'll have speed control soon, but not yet. And we can use, we can protect Finny and Max Lightning their Finny? Yeah, I'm checking. There's one turn of Trick Room now. What do we do here? Oh, we Moonblast. That's not smart. Didn't remember that. You always want to protect in this position, just because this is the last turn that they're going to have any speed control on their side. If we're lucky, they go for Metagross and they proc our weakness policy for us with a Quake, but can't remember exactly how it went, but that would not be smart on their end, so you really don't want to bank on your opponent making mistakes like that. Alright, let's see what the Glacier goes for. Right, it was Steel Spike into Finny. That's really not great. Protect would have been so nice. And on top of that, they're going to get a defense boost out of that, which means that I'm not sure that our Max Lightning will kill their Finny. Depends how bulky it is. They're just continuing to set up. I mean, that Finny is starting to get scary, but we're going to put a lot of damage into it, and we'll have speed control the following turn. Like, we've just confirmed that they're slower than us since they went first in Trick Room. But let's see if Max Lightning kills. No, that +1 made the difference just by a little bit. Okay, so that one's a bit iffy. If you're worried about Steel Spike, if you read into this play, then maybe Steel Spike from us is actually the better play, because then we have a defense boost. And that's just something you have to weigh with this Thunder Punch tech. Like, it's really nice as pretty much our only Celesteela check, and sometimes it can get you a KO onto a Finny. But Ironhead already does a good chunk into Finny as is, so you have to weigh A, whether it's worth having your Steel Spike boost instead of the potential kill, and B, whether you want to reveal it. I made a mistake in the tournament where I revealed my Thunder Punch in game 1, and it meant that I had to change my lead in a following game. But anyway, we're still fine. So, like, we can just protect Finny this turn, and then we can try to kill Bears with a Steel Spike and get that defense boost I was talking about. It is nice that we lived this one, though. I don't believe I did this calc. Great, so Steel Spike's up. We'll take the hit. Let's see what Glastrier does here. And who do they target? And what move, actually? Quake? Since for that boost, that makes sense. They do into Metagross, so that's fantastic. We have our +1, and they're just going to hand us our weakness policy on a silver platter, so, you know, couldn't get any better than that. Let's see who their last mon is now. It is Torkoal. Okay, so this would have been really scary under Trick Room. It would have just absolutely demolished Metagross. Eruption might even kill at full from max, I'm not sure. But now that we have speed control, it really isn't. And Glacier isn't a threat to us even if it gets to attack, and because, you know, Metagross has the +1, it'll just take its hits. So we can just ignore it and focus down Torkoal. If we ignore Torkoal, there is the potential for our opponent to come back. So the safe play is always to just take out that threat. And double connect on the Muddy Water, that's really nice. Accuracy drop on Glacier, great, so Max is going to be over soon, so that's of course awesome. And they didn't protect. I think they really needed to throw out a protect on something, predict what I was going to attack, for them to have a chance of coming back into the game. Without Trick Room, they're in a really rough position. Here comes a Steel Spike into Finny. Probably gonna kill. No. Oh, wow, 1. Didn't expect to lift that, but you know, it doesn't matter either way. We can just double in this turn, but we still had something left in the back, so yeah, the game's a wrap at this point. Metagross is at +2, and even with their Steel Spike boosts to even that out, Ironhead is going to do too much. They can't OHKO us. Barring a crit, of course. But Finny has some boosts too. Yeah, and there's the forfeit. Awesome. Good game to my opponent here too. Well, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, the rental code for this team is in the description and at the beginning of the video. I'm also including the link to the Littleroots Lessons Discord, so check them out. It's an awesome community, and there'll be more of these qualifier tournaments to determine who plays in their invitational later this year. Anyway, I have a fun team in mind for next week, so bye till then.